The Toyota Sienna, guys, you know on the channel, I'm a big fan of the hybrid minivan. And minivans are having a resurgence right now in the market. You're seeing the Carnival hitting all-time sales records. You're seeing the Odyssey surge right now. The Sienna's demand, I'll show you right now. The Sienna's demand is about 3, 4, 5 years pent up. They're finally getting some good volume this year, but we weren't able to meet the demand last year at 75,000 units. But look at like all the way back to 2019. The demand for the Sienna is probably about 100,000 units per year for this hybrid 37 plus miles per gallon mile muncher and family hauler. They just completely miscalculated the demand for it. And one of the things I've also wanted out of the Sienna is a better powertrain. Don't get me wrong. I love the crazy fuel economy that the 2.5 liter gets, but it is underpowered for that big of a vehicle with 242 horsepower, 246, somewhere around there. It's loud. It's kind of buzzy. It's not very refined, surprisingly, for a Toyota hybrid. So much better implementations of Toyota's hybrids throughout the lineup, but the demand's so high on this, Toyota doesn't even need to try with this minivan. And the minivan experience actually in some ways is better on the Carnival. You have way more room in the Carnival, and the riding and this luxury and the sound isolation that you get, as well as the V6 that you get on the Odyssey, is just, it buries the Sienna. The Sienna is really kind of a one-trick pony minivan, and that is its elite fuel economy and its reliability from a powertrain perspective. We have news coming out of Car Scoops, which is actually coming out of China. They just had a technology briefing over there on upcoming Toyota models. And the Highlander, which we'll talk about today as well, and the Sienna are getting the powertrains that I've been asking for on these vehicles for a long time. If you guys are excited for the Sienna and the Highlander to get some updates, make sure to smash that like button and make sure you are subscribed, because I will update you every single time I hear something about these historic nameplates for Toyota here in the United States. Real quick, going back on the Highlander's sales volume, look how big it was even in 2022, over 220,000 units. Then the Grand Highlander started coming out, and look at the sales volume plummet. 2025, they might get to around 60,000 units, which is the lowest in like recorded history, essentially. Going back to 2005, it's never been anywhere close to that low. Why is it so low? The demand for it isn't very high. So Toyota is apportioning Highlander demand to Grand Highlander production as well as Sienna production. They're all made in the Indiana plant. All right. So what can we expect out of these next gen Toyotas, these family haulers? All right. Toyota confirmed range extender versions of the next Highlander and Sienna, but that's for China. We'll talk about that possibility coming to America. They also have next gen Highlander coming in 2026, with the Sienna coming in 2027. So I think this is pretty exciting stuff. Will the Highlander come for the United States in 2026? Well, remember, the Highlander was supposed to be fully battery electric, but earlier today, Trump just killed the EV mandate for the CARB states, and the EV tax credit is likely to be thrown out the window in the near future. So a fully battery electric Highlander or Highlander EV only makes no sense. How does the Highlander make sense? Well, Toyota's strength is flexibility. Bring the Highlander, give it a fully electric for those who want one, but it's going to be like less than 10% of the sales volume. Bring a plug-in hybrid and bring a standard hybrid. Okay, simple. Leave it there. Have one body style for EV, PHEV, and hybrid. And the Highlander, though, while it might launch in China in 2026, I don't have high expectations of it coming stateside that early. It could. It's possible, but I don't want to get my hopes up for it, right? Toyota doesn't seem to be in any hurry to bring it to the market. Now, this vehicle is supposed to be built in Kentucky at their huge plant there, all right? But things have gotten a little bit murky because of the tariffs. The RAV4 was supposed to leave Kentucky with this new generation coming out later this year and go to Japan and Canada for production only. But because of the tariffs, Toyota's like, we're just going to have to keep it in Kentucky. So that's going to probably throw a curveball into the Highlander right now in terms of how early it can come to the US market. All right, we're obviously not going to import them from China. Now, I think a plug-in hybrid honestly is inevitable at this point for the Sienna and the Highlander, and probably the Grand Highlander, and most Toyota vehicles as well. They're sedans. It doesn't make a lot of sense to have a plug-in hybrid. It'd be too costly, in my opinion. But look at the RAV4. The RAV4 is either this new hybrid system, 5th-gen hybrid with 236 horsepower and all-wheel drive form, or 320 horsepower and plug-in hybrid. And that's exactly what the Sienna needs. It needs 320 horsepower and 50 miles of electric range. That's exactly what the Sienna needs. When will we get it? Probably not till 2027, maybe 2028. Look, Toyota's in no hurry to bring the Sienna redesign to America. It'll probably hit China first. It could. It very well could if it's 2027. When did the last generation come out? The 4th generation came out in 2020. And they still are nowhere near to meeting the demand for this vehicle as we look at the sales again. Here, this is a more accurate sales. Good car, bad car didn't have the right sales right here in 21 or 22. So if we look at 107,000 for the Sienna, that was fully hybrid then, but that could have been mixed with the old V6 models. But yeah, they just have never been able to get back to 100K, nowhere close. All right, since 2021, I should say. With the demand being so high, and the production volume being nowhere close, they don't need to bring this model to America as a redesign anytime soon. They're going to take their time. They're going to sit on it. They're going to marinate. They're going to test out this plug-in hybrid and the new RAV4 on a massive scale and then bring it to the Sienna. Look, and I don't mention this vehicle a lot because I wasn't impressed with the plug-in hybrid powertrain on it, and that was the Chrysler Pacifica plug-in hybrid. It felt very rough. It did not feel very refined. The electric assist was always a bit strange feeling in that vehicle. It just felt like it was going to break. And then people have had all sorts of issues with that plug-in hybrid Pacifica. The V6, I haven't heard any issues with it. But the plug-in hybrid on it needs competition, and it needs to be a lot better. Toyota and Honda both need, and Kia both need plug-in hybrid minivans. While Toyota is doing EREVs in China, would they be doing EREV for the Sienna? And the answer is, I highly doubt it for the United States market. Look, they just came out with that new plug-in hybrid system for the RAV4. Now, all Toyota needs to do is just copy and paste it into many models as possible. They're not going to bring an EREV here for a Sienna. An EREV is really good for efficiency, but you need more battery for it. And the EREVs, the engine doesn't tie into the wheels at all. All right, so there are pros and cons to EREVs. China's very EREV dependent due to probably the mandates there and just the ecosystem's different. We're here in the United States, with our highway demand and the highway speeds that we have, we absolutely need the engine to be there to assist with propulsion. And hopefully Honda's working on that with their large platform hybrids. If not, I'm worried about their highway fuel economy. But if you look at what Hyundai and Kia is doing, they're actually doing EREVs. So maybe Hyundai and Kia can show us that EREVs can be efficient on the highway as well here in the United States. But will they have enough electric assist to make up for the lack of the engine actually tying into the wheels, adding to propulsion? Only time will tell. It's a very exciting time with plug-in hybrids in the United States. I think starting today, call me crazy, but I think starting today, we're going to see the demise, or should I say a lessening, of the EV, full battery electric development here in the United States, and a huge shift from that development to plug-in hybrid development. Because it is, when you're spending $60,000, let's just say $60,000 on a plug-in hybrid in the United States, or should I say an electric vehicle that you have to plug in, why not have a gasoline engine to take you the extra distance or add additional power and have less weight compared to a traditional BEV? Not always, but it's close. All right, sometimes less than a heavy BEV. So I don't know. I don't know where the future holds for the Sienna. I think the designs that we'll get I think this is exciting. I think the designs we'll get in China when they redesign these vehicles, those are designs we're going to get here in the United States. I'm almost positive on that. Look, those are the Chinese Crown Kluger slash Highlander and the Toyota Sienna over there. They look exactly the same as the United States market. I think there's a really good chance. Again, even the Camry looks really similar over in China. The lights might change, right? The lights are different actually on the Sienna and this Highlander, I think, than they are stateside. So the lights could change. Some of the styling on the grills could change, but the overall design, we're probably going to see it in China first before the United States. So I think all we can take away from this news coming out of China is that we're getting redesigns in the next couple of years for both the Sienna and the Highlander. We're going to have new powertrains that we haven't seen on those vehicles previously, whether it's fully battery electric for the Highlander as an option. If they do it fully electric, it's suicide. Toyota will bleed money with that EV only Highlander. They have to make it as a plug-in hybrid and as a standard hybrid. The Sienna needs a plug-in hybrid. Just put the RAV4's plug-in hybrid in there and call it a day. And the style, who cares? It's a minivan. Style it however the frick you want. No one cares, right? Minivans are there for practicality first and foremost. Sliding doors, tons of interior cargo space, and passenger space. There's nothing that really they don't need to reinvent the wheel. They just need to plop in the plug-in hybrids that the RAV4 just came out with. Plop them in. E-Revs, they don't need to come to the United States for Toyota anytime soon. I think if they do come, it might actually, I don't even know when they would be likely to come. I can't think of it. Maybe 10 years from now, because our market demands are so much different than China and other places too. So let me know if you'd rather have an E-Rev over a PHEV. Do you want more battery electric range? Is 50 enough? Or do you want something like 100 miles of battery electric range with a small onboard generator that you would see in an E-Rev? Let me know what you want out of a new Highlander and Sienna generation. They're right around the corner. We're going to get redesigns of them in the next year or two in China. And then they'll come out here probably a year after. But I felt like sharing this. I love these vehicles, especially the Sienna, so much that anytime I see something on the Sienna, I have to update you guys, because that van is truly remarkable with its efficiency. But Toyota has a lot of work to do to make it as good and as luxurious and as refined as a Honda Odyssey, for example. All right, I'll see you guys in the comments. Have a great day and peace.